Hey guys, it's Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Today we're going to take a look at Moneytalks by AC/DC. So as you could tell from that intro, I was playing first Malcolm Young's part, and then I came in with Angus Young's part there, but they're played at the same time on the original recording and obviously live. So we are going to tackle both parts, and of course we're going to go through the verse and the chorus, pre-chorus, and the guitar solo note for note as well. So it's going to be a cool video. So let's take a look here. We're in standard tuning. I'm going to start with Angus's part, which is definitely the easiest of the rhythm guitar parts, and the easiest to understand. So it sounds like this. And here in the intro, it'll just jump to the D chord. So that's just the open G chord with the 12th fret on the B string. So you're always hitting the open G string along with just the melody note on the B string. Now the melody is just on the B, so it goes 10, 12, 10, 12, 13. Then 12, 10, 8, 10, 8. So just kind of hum that melody. Now play it, adding the G string on every hit. Then you play the same notes basically again, just phrase slightly different. So I kind of ended it with 2 hits there on that 8. So all together. Repeat. Now the second time through there, this is just for it finishes out the melody the same way during the chorus sections, which we'll get to soon. But here in the intro, it's going to jump to that D power chord. So it's just an open D string, 2nd fret on the G, 3rd fret on the B. All right, so that's Angus's part during the intro section, which is also very similar to the chorus. But let's learn Malcolm's part, which is a little bit more tricky to play, and it sounds like this. So he ends up with that same D chord as well. So what we're going to do here is we're going to play a G chord, play the 3rd fret there on the low E string. Then you're going to mute the A string with the bottom of that middle finger. So you want that A string to be muted. You're going to have the open D. You're going to place your 3rd finger here at your ring finger at the 3rd fret on the B string. Now we're going to do the melody on the G string. So you're going to start with this 4th fret there with your pinky on the 4th fret of the G string. And then bring that melody note down to the 2nd fret on the G. So like this. So you do that twice. So I'm strumming all the strings. Remember the high E string's muted with the bottom of the ring finger, and the bottom of the middle finger mutes that A string. Now we have a little bit of a stretch. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to grab a C major chord, but instead of playing this E note here on the D string, what you're going to do is just mute that D string with the bottom of your ring finger again. So you have this, the open G, and the 1st fret there on the B string. So that is the top note, it's the melody note, but then we go. So as you strum the chord, now just focus on the B and the G string. You're going to keep that note here. You can still keep the rest of the chord there. You're going to play 4 on the G string, 2, 0, 2, 0. So always keep that there though. So we have this. So far we have this. now start over. Now, just like before, we're gonna do a slight variation. So it's the same, you hit that open G twice. So the melody note is just one of the notes is hit twice instead of once, but the same notes. All together. So just repeat. And then to that D chord. All right, now we get to the, which is probably the main riff of the song, which is also the verse. It's based off of just a G chord. It's like this, sounds like this. All right, so that's a G power chord actually. So what you're gonna do is play like a G major, but it's like an open G chord. It's the version with the, you're playing the 3rd fret there on the B, not the open B. And once again, I'm muting the A string with the bottom of my middle finger. So we just have this, G, and then the open D, G, and the top 2 notes. So you strum that, mute, and then strum it again and mute. So you're doing some muting with the right hand. All right, as soon as you get that quiet, you play that little riff, which is a little bit palm muted as well to keep the notes kind of tight. You're gonna have the 3rd fret on the low E string, and then hammer 1 to 2 on the B string, I'm sorry, the A string. You're hammering up to that B note is what it is. And then back down to the G on the 3rd fret of the low E string. So wait this. All right, so from there they go to the pre-chorus where you're gonna take that same riff through a D chord and a C chord, and it sounds like this. And that leads us to the chorus. So that is going to be similar, you know, same rhythm. We're going to be up here to play a D power chord here at the 5th fret of the A string. I'm using my pinky there to hold that. Just a little bar allows you to grab the riff a little bit easier. So we have this. You're going to grab the 5th fret there on the A, and then just like before, the same riff, just different strings and a different fret. Hammer 3 to 4 on the D, and then back to that 5 on the A. So do that 4 times, and then do the exact same thing 2 frets lower. So it's off that C power chord. All right, now we make it to the chorus. Now, Angus's part is pretty simple. It's just like that intro, except you don't jump to that D. You just finish out the melody. All right, so now Malcolm Young's part is very similar to the intro as well, except it doesn't keep going back to a C chord. It goes to a C chord, then to a D chord from that G. So that sounds like this. See if you can pick up the difference. So you can see there I went to that D. So we start the same way as we did the intro. Still the same. But before, now we went back to the C again here in the intro, but here in the chorus, that second time after leaving the G chord, we're gonna go to that D power chord, and then continue that same melody on the G string by playing 4, 2, 0, 0, 2, 0. So it's the same melody that we did before on the C. But here we're doing it off the D. Along with that open D string in there. So all together. Repeat. Now after the second chorus, they lead into the guitar solo by just taking that D chord hitting it a few times, just as the open D chord, and then Angus launches into a solo. So he's had the easy part in the song so far. That changes very quickly here with the solo. So let me play through the solo real quick, and then I'll show you how to play it phrase by phrase. Here we go. All right, so that's got some cool little bluesy bends in it. It's really fun to play. So let's start here with this first phrase here. All right, so that's based off of this common blues bend here. That's at the, you're going to play the 5th fret there on the B string, and then the 6th fret on the high E string. And you're going to slowly bend up that 5th fret on the B, up a half step. So he starts the solo with a long bend doing that. And then he actually, when the kind of gets to the beginning of the measure, he does that bend again, over to the 3rd fret on across the B and the high E string. Then a bend at the 5th fret on the G string with a just kill it immediately, and then back to those the threes there. Hit those a few times. So far I have this. Now do that bend again. Back to the threes, and then quick little bend there, and then just pause. So we have this so far. All right, then back to that little bend, oblique bend, and then. So from there, back to the threes, and then you're over to the 5th fret. We have some more double stops here at the 5th fret on the B string. You can play this with just one finger, or 2 fingers. So it's the 5th fret, pick it, bend them up and bring them back down, and then pull off the 3 and then play the double stops at 5, then 3 again. You might want to bend slightly down on those 3s, and then you're going to play 5, pull off the 3 on the D, and then back to the 5th fret on the D. So far we have this for that whole phrase. All right, next phrase. All right, so that one moves around pretty quick. So it's still based off this G minor pentatonic scale for it. So that's going to be a hammer on from 3 to 5 on the G string. Then roll your first finger from 3 to the 3 on the B to the high E string. Pull off 6 to 3 on the B, over to the 5th fret on the G, back to the 3rd fret on the B, and then you're gonna roll over to the 3rd fret on the G string, do a slight bend, over to the 5th fret on the D. Then quickly grab the G string at the 5th fret and do a, and then those 2 double stops and the 3s on the B and the high E. So we have this. And then we have this. That's a little just bend there at the 5th fret on the G string again. Bend and release, so pull off just 3, and then you double stops to the 5th fret of the B and the B and the G, then 3. So far we have this. kind of add a little double stop in there. All right, from there we have the next phrase. All right, so that's basically sliding into the 9th fret on the G, over the 8 on the B string, and then you're gonna do a bend at the 10th fret on the B string, and then grab the 10 with your pinky on the high E string. So you're gonna pick that B string with your pick, and then the middle finger is gonna take care of the top note, so you're gonna hybrid pick it. So I'm picking it, and then immediately coming back down the string to mute it. Release that. Then go back up with the 9 on the G to 8 on the B. Do that bend again at the 10th fret. Grab that 10 on the high E string. Release that 10. All right, so then you're here, and you just do this little slide. That's sliding into the 9th fret again on the G, hit the 8th fret twice on the B, and then do the same thing, but this time hit 8 4 times. And slide it down. So coming. So. All right, and then after you slow down there, you're gonna come back to those oblique bend here, the 2 10s. All right, so we have that phrase. So it's those bends again. You can pick the 2 strings now, just with the pick. Just pick across. Down to the 10th fret on the B string, and then you can put just now hammer 5 to 7 on the G, pull back off to 5, or you pick 5 there. Next phrase. All right, so we're sliding into the 7th fret there on the A string, and then playing the 5th fret on the D twice. So you're gonna do that whole thing twice. Then to these double stops at the 3rd fret on the B and the G together, and then 3 5 on the D, and then back to the double stops, 3 5 3. All right, now we go back to the bends now, but instead of doing them here, we're gonna do them here. It's the same notes, but it sounds like on his guitar that he gets into kind of a meatier sound there. And it also makes sense because it's closer to the bend he's about to do at the end of the solo. So just doing that same bend, but you're gonna do it now here. At the 15th fret on the B string, you're holding there with your pinky, and then you're gonna bend up the 14th fret on the G. Do that 4 times, and then the bend, whole step bend to end the solo 4 times at the 18th fret on the high E. All right, so coming out of that solo, we have, which would probably be the bridge, which is just like the intro to the song. So it's just kind of based around the C, it doesn't go to that D chord. So just play it like the intro, the rhythm guitar parts. And then we're back to the chorus, same chorus as before. And then the end of the song, we play that main riff again based on G. And they just kind of hold on G. Just end it with a D chord and just hit it. All right, so that is about it for Money Talks. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.